But financial freedom is something you can experience on the way to financial independence. You don't have to wait 15, 20, 25, 30 years to get there. You can experience that starting today. So I'm going to break down the 6 levels of financial independence and the type of financial freedom that you can experience as you unlock these different levels along the way to your journey toward financial independence or early retirement. And I'm going to share with you my favorite version of financial independence, which gives you 80% of the benefits of being fully financially independent with 1/10 of the money in the bank. So I will share with that. A wise man once said, pursuing financial independence is not a race to the finish line. Invest, yes, but also enjoy. So to enjoy that journey, I want to break down the 6 levels of financial independence and how you can experience joy, financial freedom, and stress relief along the way to full financial independence. So here it is. So level 1 is just simply financial awareness. Level 2 is being 1 month ahead of your expenses. Level 3 is being consumer debt free, especially high interest debt. Level 4 is having an entire year of money set aside in savings or invested in the market. Level 5 is known as Coast Fire, and level 6 is full financial independence. So that was a quick overview. I want to break down how these work and what the timelines kind of look like and the level of financial freedom you can experience along the way and why it's so important to understand this journey to financial independence so you can actually stay motivated to still pursue early retirement if you want to, or at least pursue being financially free by the time you choose to retire. So the first unlock, the first level of financial independence, the first step into financial freedom is awareness. Awareness literally just means being aware of what is happening with your money. How does it come into your life? Where does it go? Is it growing? Is your net worth going up or down? Understanding your money on a general level gives you clarity and a certain level of financial freedom. Most people walk around every single day going to work, earning money, the paycheck hits, they spend it on their bills and they spend it on whatever else, and then they go do that over and over again. 40+% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 60% of Americans don't even have enough money to cover a $1,000 emergency, let alone have any awareness of what's actually happening with their money. So the first step to financial awareness is creating a budget. It's really simple. You are literally going to put your numbers on paper and figure out where your money's going. But you can't just start with creating a budget. In fact, with my coaching clients, what I like to do is we do what's called a financial audit. And so they will actually connect all of their accounts and we will download all of their data and we will organize it and we will go through the last 90 days of spending. And this does a couple of things. Number 1 is it shows them where their money's been going. They've been making financial decisions. Maybe in their head, they think, oh, I kind of know where my money's been going. They usually never do, and they're super shocked and surprised. I even had one client say, I wanted to throw up when I looked at the actual numbers. But what this is holding a financial mirror in front of their face going, here's the reality of the decisions you've been making over the last 90 days. So it gives them some clarity. It makes them be honest with themselves, but it also allows them to look at it in clear-cut data going, oh, okay, I'm okay with these decisions. I'm not okay with these decisions. And they can quickly cut out the waste. Stuff that they spend on that they realize is not moving them toward financial independence, not moving them toward their goals. So that financial audit will give them some reality to ground themselves in, help them make quick decisions and save hundreds of dollars per month, and then they can go and create that budget. And the entire point of a budget isn't to say no to everything. You build lots of fun in, and there's all kinds of enjoyment you can build into the budget. The whole goal is to take control of your money, give it exact instructions on exactly where you want it to go, and then ultimately to set a habit of starting to save some money. If you've never saved money before, or if saving money is hard for you, it's because you're not honest with yourself. You haven't done a financial audit. You haven't put together a budget that's realistic based on your real spending, and then figured out how to cut out the waste on things that you don't care about. So if you walk through these steps, there's an insane amount of financial freedom that comes just from being aware, putting together this budget, starting to save money, starting to cut out waste, and starting to see your account balances go up instead of hit zero at the end of every single month. So this level of financial independence, to me, is the first big unlock that I've seen with people as they start to pursue saving and investing and growing their wealth. Now, the next step is to get 1 month ahead of your expenses. And this is why it's a freedom unlock. Number one, you become aware of your expenses. You go, okay, how much do I need in the bank to actually have a month set aside? And when you can set aside that money, that means you've stuck to the budget. You've actually built that habit of saving money, and you started maybe even automating the process, and you put it in a high yield savings account, which I'll have linked below. I've got an updated list of all of those. But you start putting money away, you start seeing it grow, and you're building good habits. That means you're already moving in the right direction. You're already in control of your money. Once you get a month ahead of your money, though, there's a couple of things that happen. Number one is small emergencies are not a big deal anymore. Even if your transmission goes out, usually it doesn't cost more than a month of your expenses. And so even though something could feel major in the moment, knowing you have the money set aside to take care of it is massive. But number two, and this is the big freedom unlock, this is the why it's a level of financial independence. You are no longer dependent on your paycheck coming in at a certain time because you're a month ahead of your money. You can start living on last month's money. What I mean by that is your paychecks that are coming in now are for next month's expenses because this month is already taken care of. And so I've actually set up a lot of my clients with a full automation where they have two checking accounts. One is their month ahead account, one's their main account. And as this one fills up, once they have a month worth of expenses, before the month begins, they automate all of their money into that account, and then it automatically pays all their bills, and they've got the money for the rest of the month as they start to refill this second bucket. It's this really cool level of financial freedom where you don't care when you get paid anymore. It doesn't matter when your bills are coming through. You're not counting the days down until your paycheck hits. All that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, all that stress goes away. And this is a massive unlock that allows you to enjoy your money, enjoy earning money, and it starts to turn into a game. You also make better financial decisions. You can actually have clarity instead of going, oh, well, I got to figure this out because I don't get paid until next Friday. And all that goes away. You go, okay, what are some strategic decisions we can make now to help save us a little more money? Does it make sense to make this purchase a little bit earlier in the month so that we can, be positioned better? Like, you make clear decisions when you're not drowning, but you're sitting on a boat, looking out, and you can actually see the horizon. So level 2 of financial independence to me is truly one of the most powerful ones. So again, level 2 allows you to set aside money for small emergencies, and you're starting to live on last month's money. To me, really, level 2 is probably the biggest unlock and the biggest, your shoulders drop back and you can breathe a sigh of relief level of financial freedom. Now, level 3 is when you pay off your consumer debt, especially any high interest debt that you have. Now, it's no surprise, paying off high interest debt brings an insane amount of financial freedom. But the other cool thing is that to actually pay off high interest debt, to actually pay down your auto loans, personal loans, credit cards, anything that's outstanding, you have to start living a debt-free lifestyle. And this doesn't get talked about enough, but living a debt-free lifestyle means you don't use the credit cards anymore. You only pay for stuff with the money that you already have, not with future money. You're no longer borrowing. You get out of the habit and the addiction of borrowing money to pay for in the moment expenses, and you wait. That habit right there, along with the saving money habit, is what's going to unlock the ability to become financially free. So paying off high interest debt isn't just the debt snowball method and the debt avalanche method and paying off your debt strategically and becoming completely debt free and not owing anybody. Like, that stuff is all amazing, but it really is I'm living a debt-free lifestyle, and the choices that I make, I will intentionally buy my cars with cash. I will not finance my furniture. I'll make sure that any major purchases I set aside money for on a monthly basis, and then I will make those purchases. That is really the huge unlock for level 3 of financial independence. All right, level 4 of financial independence is a big one. So you've put together a budget, you're financially aware, you're financially in control. You've got a month of expenses set aside and you've paid off that high interest debt. But most importantly, you're living a debt-free lifestyle. You have the habit of saving, and all the money that was going toward debt can now go toward growth. This is when you start investing. This is when you start putting money into that Roth IRA. It's where you make sure you get that 401k match. It's where you open up and max out an HSA account, and you do this year over year for a couple of years, and then you finally get to the next milestone where you have at least 1 year of expenses set aside in between your savings account and your investments. This is huge. So what I typically tell people is after they're high interest debt free is to have at least 3 to 6 months of money set aside in an emergency fund. So if your monthly expenses are $5,000, you'll have $15,000 to $30,000 in the savings accounts. But if your yearly expenses are $60,000, how cool would it be if you had, let's say, $20,000 in an emergency fund and $40,000 between your Roth IRA and 401k? There's something magical that unlocks once you have an entire year of money set aside. It gives you the feeling that no matter what happens in this world, you'll be able to survive for the next year. Job loss is massively scary. And not that you would ever want to tap into your retirement accounts, but just knowing I can keep the lights on, a roof over my head, and put food on the table for the next 12 months, no matter what happens, is massive. That is huge. So once you hit that 1 year of expenses, that's another financial freedom unlock. You don't have to worry so much. You know you're moving in the right direction. Your emergencies are taken care of, and if something catastrophic happens, you have an entire year set aside. For me, this was a big unlock because I had a year of money set aside, liquid available, and I had my investments. And so between those things, I was able to confidently quit my job back in 2018. But I didn't quit my job until I got to level 5 of financial independence, which is Coastfire. Now, Coastfire is a concept that I've described in a few videos, and again, I'll link them up here, I'll link them down below, but Coastfire means if you never put another penny in the market, you will still be set by the time you choose to retire. It means if you stop investing completely, let's say you're 40 years old and you've got $300,000 set aside between all your retirement accounts and you never put another penny in, that will grow to be enough by the time you choose to retire, let's say at age 65. So this does require a few things. It requires you knowing how much do you need to retire, which is a whole nother video. Again, like I said, I'll have a link below to that. But it also requires you knowing how much your investments could potentially grow, which is really important to understand your asset allocation, what you're invested in, how fees affect, all of those things. But once you know those pieces and those data points, you can stop investing. Heck, you could even change jobs. You could do something crazy like I did and quit your job and travel around the country in an RV for a couple of years once you hit this Coastfire milestone, and it will not destroy your financial future. Honestly, this is why Coastfire to me is the best version of financial independence. Now, maybe I'm just saying that because I didn't want to stick in a job I hate for 10 to 15 years just to save half my income and retire early. Maybe it would have been worth it, but to me, it was not. I was able to buy back time with my family while my kids were very young. We traveled around the country in an RV in an adventure I will never, ever forget. Made memories of a lifetime. We hit 38 states, 20 national parks, all because I had enough invested at an early age that even if I never put another penny in the market, it will still grow to be enough by the time I retire. And this is why I say you could have 80% of the benefits of financial independence with like 1/10 of the money invested. You don't need millions in the bank to enjoy a huge amount of financial freedom. That's what Coastfire did for me. And I will continue to document my Coastfire journey on here. I have a video where I talk about what I've been doing for the last 7 years and how it's going with my investments. Like I said, I'll link that up here or I'll link that down below as well. But Coastfire to me gave me the ability to quit, travel, and then even start my own business so that I didn't have to go back to a job that I hated, to a life that was sucking me dry. And now my life is what takes precedent and my work revolves around my life instead of the other way around. So Coastfire is a huge financial milestone. Once you get there, it's a huge level of financial freedom unlocked. And if you want to know if you're even close to Coastfire, I actually built a custom calculator. You can grab it. There's a link below. You can sign up and I'll send you a copy of it and some videos on how to use this. But the Coastfire calculator allows you to plug your numbers in. And so you can say, oh, I'm 35 years old and I have $160,000 invested. And I'm putting about, $800 a month away and my investments will grow at 8%. I need about $2 million to retire. Am I there? And this says, yeah. You're going to get there real soon because you need 170,000 right now. You're only at 160, but really soon, like by mid next year, you could be there, and then your investments will grow to way more than enough by the time you retire. Again, I'll have an entire explanation. I don't want to take over this whole video on this, but you can grab a copy of this Coastfire calculator below to see if you're at the 5th level of financial independence. So that's level 5. And like I said, I think it's the most important milestone and the one that changed my life the most. And then finally, there's full financial independence. And that just means your investments will put food on your table forever. Again, if I just go to my Coast Fire calculator here, that means you've hit this number right here. You've hit $2.1 million. And if you live on 4% of that $2.1 million, you can withdraw $7,000 per month in that first year of retirement. And then you can adjust it up for inflation after that for the rest of your life. That's full financial independence. And there are a ton of people, if you just go on YouTube and look for fully financially independent, here's your story. There's so many great people out there that have documented their journey to and through financial independence and how that's changed their life. And I think that's a worthy goal. And for me, like I said, I decided that Coast Fire was a goal that I wanted to pursue. But if you want to pursue full financial independence and be completely done, you just need to make sure you save up 300 times your monthly spending in retirement. Or 25 times your annual spending. Now that can feel like a lot, but it's important you just go through your retirement budget, figure out how much you're going to spend per month in retirement, and just multiply that by 300. So in this example I was showing, if you're going to spend about $7,000 a month in retirement, then you need $2.1 million in invested assets that you can draw 4% from that first year. The cool thing about that 4% rule, you can also inflation adjust it up every single year after that, so you can give yourself small raises. So you don't only live on $7,000 a month for the next 30 to 40 years. It's $7,000, and then maybe it's $7,100, then it's $7,300, right? It goes up each year after that. So that is full financial independence. And yes, that is the end goal. But I wanted to show you that there's so many levels to this game, and you can unlock so much financial freedom along the way that you don't have to exhaust yourself, burn yourself out just trying to get to the finish line. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have some friends that are pursuing financial independence and you feel like they're going way too far all in, send them this video, just share that to them and let them know, hey, you can chill out a little bit. You can enjoy financial freedom along the way to financial independence. You don't have to kill yourself to get there. So if you've been pursuing financial independence and you feel like it's exhausting, I hope this video helps show you there's financial freedom to be enjoyed along the entire journey to financial independence. And if you're pursuing financial independence based on that 4% rule, I actually made an entire video right here where the author of the 4% rule just completely destroyed it, and you might be richer than you think. So check it out right here.